Hi there. Being that it's Christmas Eve, we at a Combat Veterans Hope thought this would be the perfect time to share some holiday stories with you and your families. So when I grabbed this old-timey book here, let's see what kind of stories we can share with you guys. This one's a good one. It's called They Didn't Think CJ Could Actually Read on Camera, so they're not going to give him a real book. Awesome. But that's okay. I kind of figured this would happen. So instead, we have a special guest who can actually read a story to you guys. So without further ado.
Hi there, Santa here. You know, a number of people have wondered and asked Santa why the little children in the night before Christmas were dreaming of sugar plums. And that's a very good question. And the reason that they were dreaming of sugar plums is 200 years ago, they commonly read bedtime stories and poems to children before they went to sleep. And one of the favorite ones back then was called the Sugar Plum Tree, and they usually read it to the children the night before Christmas. And Santa happens to have the story right here and wants to read it to you too. The Sugar Plum Tree. Have you ever heard of the Sugar Plum Tree? 'Tis a marvel of great renown. It blooms on the shore of the Lollipop Sea, in the garden of Shut-Eye Town. The fruit of it bears is so wondrously sweet, as those who have tasted it say, that good little children have only to eat of the fruit to be happy next day. When you got to the tree, you would have a hard time to capture the fruit which I sing. The tree is so tall that no person could climb to the boughs where the sugar plums swing. But up in that tree is a chocolate cat, and a gingerbread dog prowls below. And this is the way you contrive to get at those sugar plums tempting you so. You say but a word to the gingerbread dog, and he barks with such terrible zest that the chocolate cat is at once all agog, as her swelling proportions attest. And the chocolate cat goes cavorting around from this leafy limb unto that. And the sugar plums tumble, of course, to the ground. Hurrah for the chocolate cat. There are marshmallows, gumdrops, and peppermint canes with stripings of scarlet or gold. And you carry away of the treasure that reigns as much as your apron can hold. So come, little child, cuddle closer to me in your dainty white nightcap and gown, and I'll rock you away to that sugar plum tree in the garden of Shut-Eye Town. Merry Christmas.
Awesome story, Santa. Thank you so much for sharing that. If you have another, we sure would appreciate it because I checked the other books. There's nothing in there either. So, do you have another?
Well, hi there. Merry Christmas. This is Santa, and I want to take a moment and read this wonderful story to you about a young man wrote about 200 years ago when he saw Santa coming to his house to deliver presents one night. It's called The Night Before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. What do you think he heard? You know, reindeers always have the bells, right? Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eye should appear but a magical sleigh and 8 mighty reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Do you remember any of the names? Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back. He looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes how they twinkled, his dimples how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke of it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Have a Merry Christmas. I will see you on Christmas Eve.
Now that is a Christmas story. Thank you so much, Santa, for taking the time to read to us today. On behalf of my entire staff at A Combat Veterans Hope, we want to wish each and every one of you a very safe and very happy holiday season.